Hi everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk and thank you very much for joining me today. This is what I've been making today. If I pull the flap here, out pops a gift card holder. Now, I'm not going to say that this is the easiest project in the world to make, but it is quite straightforward if you follow the steps one at a time. And there is a measuring and folding and cutting diagram on my blog, so if you hop on over there you will get all the measurements and all the places where you need to put your fold lines. I made something similar to this just over a year ago, and it had a slightly different mechanism to it. This one I think is a little bit simpler, but why don't you stay with me and see what you think. For the back and the front of my card, I'm using Calypso Coral. So the back of my card is 4 inches by 5 3/4, and the front of my card, which is going to be a sort of pocket that wraps around the back, is 5 1/4 by 6 5/8. For the inner workings of the card, this is the piece that's going to be the slider that you pull and that the gift card holder is attached to. So this is 3 3/4 by 8 inches, and this is the slider piece that holds it all into place. Now this is not going to be seen, so you don't have to worry too much about the the kind of card you use. It can be something that you've marked up. This one happens to be another piece of Bermuda Bay, and I've cut this to, let me check, 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. And I am checking my notes, and when I've finished this, I will be putting cutting and folding diagrams on my blog. So if you want all the measurements, hop on over to my blog. Link is below the video in the more information box, and you can get hold of that diagram. Got 2 little pieces that are going to hold the gift card, and this one is 2 1/2 by 3 3/4, and this one is 2 1/2 by 4 3/4. All right. So to decorate it up a bit, I've got some DSP. Now I'm using the Bubbles and Fizz DSP, which is one of the things that you can earn for free in this year's celebration, which runs to the end of March. And I've cut 2 pieces that are 5 1/2 by 3 3/4, and they're going to go on the front and the back of my card. All right, and these are the pieces that are going to decorate the inside of the card. So I have don't know what that noise was, but thank you very much. A little fanfare there. So I've cut a piece that's 3 1/2 by 2 3/4. I've cut 2 pieces that are 2 1/4 by 3 1/2, and I've got a couple of other pieces which are going to form like the back of things, and we'll talk about them when we get to them. The main thrust of today's tutorial is going to be about constructing the card itself. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time showing you how I stamp and die cut things out. I'm just going to tell you what it is that I'm using. I'm going to stamp using Picture Perfect Birthday, and I'm going to use Bermuda Bay ink. To stamp on, I'm going to use Whisper White, and I've also got some scraps of Calypso Coral card for die cutting. Also for die cutting, I've got some of the glimmer paper from the Myths and Magic pack. So I've got some of the iridescent and some of the turquoise. I'm die cutting using the layering oval framelets, and I'm also going to use some of the dies from the mini treat bag framelets. Thin nuts, whatever they are, I'm going to use those. I use a couple of punches as well, the everyday label punch and a 3/4 inch circle punch. So those are the things that I'm going to be using in my project today. First of all, I'm going to score all of the bits of card that 3, 2, 1. First of all, I'm going to score all the bits of card that are going to need it. And I have my piece of Calypso Coral here. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to begin by scoring all the bits of card that need it. I'm going to start with my piece of Calypso Coral. That's going to be the front of my card. Now, this card has been in storage for quite some time, and it's rather dry, and that may cause me a problem when I come to do my scoring. So I have a candle here. It's a jumbo tea light, and I'm just rubbing the tip of my stylus into the wax just to make it glide a little bit better. You could wipe it with a tumble dryer sheet, you could run it through your hair, and some people even recommend rubbing on the side of your nose because it'll pick up just a little bit of oil from your skin. So I've got the short edge of my card at the top of my scoreboard, and I'm just going to score at 1/2 inch, and then again 1 inch in, 1/8 in at 5/8 of an inch, and I'm going to do the same thing again. Rotate my card, and I'm going to go 1/2 inch and 5/8 of an inch, and I'm going to do the same thing again. Score at 1/2 inch and 5/8 of an inch, and then I'm going to stop. So the next one I'm going to do is the little piece that is going to be the back of the card carrier, and I'm going to score that at 1/2 inch and rotate, 1/2 inch and rotate again at 1/2 inch. Okay, and I said that's going to be the back of the card carrier. In fact, it's going to be the front. It's going to be one of those days. Alright, now this is going to be the piece that makes all the magic happen, that makes the action happen. So I'm going to score at 3 inches, 4.5 inches, and 5.25 inch, and I'm going to make a mark at 7.5 inches, and I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to make another mark at 7.5 inches. Okay, and that's all of my scoring done. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the piece that's going to hold my gift card. Now I've gone ahead and I've rounded off the corners of this piece, and I've covered it with my piece of DSP. That's going to be the back. This is going to be the front. So I've burnished the folds very well with my bone folder, and I'm just going to trim off these edges here, like that. And I want to trim away a piece in the middle here to make it easy to get your fingers in and out when you're taking your gift card out. So to do that, I've got my everyday label punch, and on the back of my card I've marked the halfway mark, and as you can see I've already put my tear and tape in place to help me. And because I've lined up the halfway points on my label with a little bit of Sharpie, I can align all of that up. Now I think that's a bit further than I want to cut out, so I'm just going to line it up with those edges just there and there, just like that. Just take my time, and when I'm happy it's where I want it, I just punch out, and that now should be pretty much in the centre of my card holder. Just like. Got a little piece of DSP here, which is going to be the front panel on the card carrier, and it's 1 3/4 by 3.5. So I'm just going to stick it down onto the front of my card base with some fast fuse. Snail would do, but fast fuse is being discontinued, guys. They are, it's retired. It's retiring or retired. We still have stocks of it in the European market, but once they are depleted, that is it. No more fast fuse for us. So I'm just centering very carefully where I want my my panel to go. Okay, now as you can see, that's covered up the bit that I've already punched out, but it's no big deal because I can just come back with my decorative label punch. Just line up where I've already punched, and there you go. When I tried this out for fit, I found that it was a little bit snug, so I've made an extra score line just inside the first one that I made. Okay, so that I make a little kind of a little spine there. I've put tear and tape on the back, and I've already taken the backing off, and I put my gift card in, just tacked it down with a little bit of snail, just so that I don't make this too snug. And I'm just bringing my edges round and just sticking them into place. Okay, I just want to check that I can still get my gift card in and out easily, and I can. Right, so that's now ready to go onto. This is the long piece that's going to slide out of the inside of the card, and I've gone ahead and put some DSP and some tear and tape onto this already and burnished my folds. So this first fold is going to be a valley fold, the next fold is a mountain fold, and the next fold is a valley fold. Okay, and burnish your score lines well. I've got a couple of more things to do. The first one is to take my snips and to just cut 1/2 inch. Now remember where I made a little mark at half an inch from this edge, 7.5 inches from the other edge, and I've just marked with my pen 1/2 inch in from the edge at that point. So now I have 2 little flaps. I'm going to remove the backing from my tape and bring my card carrier, which I have previously made, and I'm just going to line that up so that it is just below that fold. Okay, it's about a millimetre, if that. 1/16 of an inch if you're in old money, which most of the time I am. Okay, so that now is going to fold up just like that. And I think I want a bit of something to cover that, but I'll probably do that afterwards. Okay, this is going to be the carrier piece that allows the pull-out piece to slide in and out, and I'm going to do a bit of measuring on this one. So to begin with, I've got it in my Stampin' trimmer, and I'm going to line it up at the 3/4 of an inch mark, and I'm lining up on the right hand side of my trimmer, and I'm not going to trim anything. I'm just going to take my pen and I'm just going to run it along that channel. I'm going to turn it round. Actually, I'm not going to turn it round. I'm going to line it up with the how deep does this need to be? A 1.5 inch mark on this side. Okay, so that's 1.25. I want 1.5. So I've lined it up with that mark on my trimmer, and I'm just going to make those marks. Okay, no need to get a ruler out, anything like that. And now I'm going to line up at the 1/2 inch mark on this side. And I'm going to take my cutting blade, which is the dark grey blade, and I'm going to line it so that the little pointer is in line with that first line that I've drawn. And I'm just going to cut down as far as the bottom line. Okay, rotate my card, line up at 1/2 inch, and do the same thing again. And there you go. Here is the back of my card, and this is the piece with the slits cut in. I've gone ahead and I've put my tape onto the back of this piece, and I've been very careful not to get it anywhere near those slits that I've already cut in this card. I'm just going to center this up onto my backer card and press that into place. Right, so I want this with the the wider piece at the top, and I'm just going to bring my slider piece. I'm just going to put those two edges into there and fold that up, and that is how that is going to go inside my card. Here's my front panel. I've already burnished my score lines and put my front panel on. I've started cutting away the bits that I'm not going to need at the edge of my card, and I'm just going to do the same on this side. Now I'm cutting up to as far as the place where the first two scores from the edge meet. I'm not going all the way through. Okay, so I've got those, and I'm now going to cut up and in. So I'm just making a little square cut where those two edges meet, and that will help my card go together neatly because it's got that little bit of a spine to allow for all of the stuff that's going on inside. One more thing that I'm going to do, I've got a 3/4 of an inch punch, and I'm just going to kind of gauge this by eye. I think that's about right. If it's not, too bad. That's where it's going to be, and snip that out so I've got somewhere to put my fingers to pull my inner bit out. Okay, right, so just going to push this all the way down to the closed position. Already got my tear and tape on. I think I will just snip those little bits away just a little bit, just to give myself a little bit less bulk on the card, and take off the backing on the tape. I'm bringing this piece in, and I'm lining it up so that the bottom edge, make sure it is the bottom edge, lines up with the outer of those two score lines, right, because all the bulk is in front and I want to give it room. And once I've done that, the rest of it is easy. So now when I put my thumb in there and pull, out flops. I've embellished up my card off screen to save a bit of time, and I'll just very quickly run you through what I did and what I used. The stars I cut out using dies from the mini treat bag thin nuts. I have to think very, very carefully about how I say that. And I used the glimmer paper that's in the Myths and Magic set, so I used the turquoise and the iridescent. A bit more die cutting with the layering ovals. I got a piece of Whisper White and a piece of Calypso Coral with the scalloped edge, and I've stamped Happiest of Birthdays to You in Bermuda Bay ink. And if I just open up the card, as you can see, I've done a bit of layering with my DSP, and also stamped Treat Yourself on the Whisper White, and I've got a border of Calypso Coral. And when I done it, I realised that perhaps Bermuda Bay would have been a better choice for that one, but you know what, it is what it is. I'm going to leave it. And there's a couple more stars there. Now I just want to show you one more thing, actually two more things. One is that with my card folded, I just snipped off those corners just to make it a little bit easier for the mechanism to fit back into the carrier there. And there's one more thing that I want to show you. Now this is optional. I asked you to score two lines that were 3/4 of an inch apart. If you wanted to, you could get away with not scoring that middle one. It wouldn't hurt at all. But I've put some tear and tape between those two score lines. And I'm just going to close that up. Because it just makes, for me, it just makes the mechanism work a little bit sharper. I get a better flip over and it kind of lands there rather than further up. That is optional, that's entirely up to you. You can leave it or not, as the case may be. And there is my finished card. I did cover the back panel as well. That's completely optional, but I just like a nice smooth finish on the back of my card. So pull my flap one more time and up pops my gift card. So thank you very much for joining me, and I do hope that you've enjoyed this video, and if so, I would be absolutely thrilled if you'd push that like button, subscribe to my channel, come back and see me again. But for now, that is it for today. Come back and see me again soon. Bye bye.